ABC for the Ozarks, covering our community. This is KSPR News at 6.
We have preliminary identification that is Rusty and Becky Porter that we have found back here.
Hello again, I'm Joe Dawes. Thanks for joining us. Lee has the night off. We are following a major development in a 3-month-old missing persons case tonight. As you just heard from the Greene County Sheriff, remains found in Taney County belong to Russell and Rebecca Porter, who've been missing since April 17th. It's still a preliminary ID, though. The Porters were found yesterday in a wooded area in Pro Tem near Cedar Creek Road. That's southeast of Branson, near the Arkansas state line. Sheriff Arnott says the case is now officially considered a double homicide investigation. We begin our team coverage tonight with KSPR's Mary Maloney, who was in Pro Tem this afternoon, where the Greene and Taney County Sheriff's Departments have been working together for 6 weeks now. So, Mary, were the remains found, and what was the sheriff saying about the investigation tonight?
Joe, the human remains believed to be those of Rusty and Becky Porter were found by a Taney County deputy yesterday morning around 11:30. The Greene County and Taney County sheriffs were standing together while they announced a major development in the missing persons case. Sheriff Arnott says the bodies are believed to have been in this location since the investigation began back in April. He would not say if the Porters were killed in the area they were found, though, or another location. But because of the rural area, the sheriff says this was not an accidental discovery and that good police work led deputies to the remains.
You can actually tell that this is not just a random search. We had information. We ended up here. We feel good about the direction. We don't feel good about the outcome, obviously, but we feel good about the direction that we're going.
Sheriff Arnott says, quote, a lot of evidence was found in Taney County and that investigators with the two offices are working together on the double homicide. The investigation is ongoing. Yet Sheriff Arnott is quick not to positively identify the Porters until a coroner completes an autopsy. That autopsy is scheduled in the next 5 days. However, he did say all preliminary indicators pointed to the Porters. Joe?
Thanks, Mary. Our team coverage of this homicide investigation continues now with KSPR's Joanna Small. She reports from Taney County with more details on what has been a lengthy search through hills, hollers, and unbearable heat.
This search was really an unbelievable undertaking. Taney County deputies have been searching for nearly 3 weeks in what's thousands and thousands of acres of forest. We're talking about both public and private. See, part of this is actually the Mark Twain National Forest. Now, the terrain is messy back there. You really can't take vehicles like trucks, so most of the time deputies had to rely on ATVs. The area has not been mapped topographically in over 40 years, so they had to rely a lot on the locals to tell them where various landmarks were. Most of the time they were walking on the ATVs, or sometimes they were even crawling. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll go into more detail about how the search led deputies to who they believe are the Porters. In Taney County, Joanna Small, KSPR News.
The Porters' family members found Russell and Rebecca's home empty April 17th. That's when this all began. Their car was still in the driveway. Since that day, the investigation has taken many twists and turns. Here's a quick timeline. The Greene County Sheriff's Office began its investigation in earnest April 19th. On May 2nd, family members announced a $15,000 reward for credible information leading to the location of Russell and Rebecca. 2 days later, the Greene County Sheriff's Department began digging up land on 3 properties around the Porters' home in Willard. In mid-June, Rebecca Porter's brother, Darrell Huft, denied he had anything to do with the disappearance of his sister and brother-in-law during an exclusive interview with KSPR News. And just last Sunday, on the 3-month mark of their disappearance, family, friends, and other volunteers reposted flyers of the missing couple, hoping to create new leads in that case. We have covered this case extensively over the past 3 months. If you'd like more information on the Porters and the Greene County Sheriff's investigation, head to our website, kspr.com. The Greene County Sheriff's Office is also working another double homicide case. Monday will mark 3 months since the stabbing deaths of Helen and Don Willingham, and still no arrests in that case. The elderly couple was found dead in their suburban Springfield home April 25th. If you know anything about this crime, call the Greene County Sheriff at 868-4040. 2 children are still missing in Berry County, and the sheriff is asking for your help tracking down their father. Authorities are looking for Matthew Chapman. They say he picked up his daughters from their mother's house nearly 2 weeks ago, sold his vehicle, and hasn't been seen since. This is a picture of Abby and Isabella Chapman, the two girls. They're from Exeter. The girls are 7 and 3 years old. The sheriff's office is following up on leads. Today, the Highway Patrol issued an endangered person advisory in this case. If you have any information, please call the Barry County Sheriff's Office at 417-847-3121.
Now, KSPR weather.
And today was very similar to the past couple, just a scorcher, very hot, but one difference is we had a couple showers of thunderstorms to cool a few lucky locations off. Take a look at the radar right now. Most areas aren't seeing the rain, but if you do get under one of these storms, you might see a decent amount of rain. We have some of the stronger storms just south of Warsaw, Truman Lake, not quite over to Lake of the Ozarks, and north of other locations right around Avery, seeing some showers of thunderstorms to the west and east of them. And farther to the south, we're seeing a little bit around the Springfield metro area. Stratford is seeing a little bit, and then more farther towards the west, not quite to Bodark, a little south of them, and then a few more over just south of Ozark. So it is actually very breezy and still a couple more showers out there. We'll have to continue to watch those over the next hour or so, and then most of them should disappear. It has cooled down here in Springfield, where we've seen a little bit of thunderstorm activity. Heat advisory continues all the way through the weekend. It will slowly cool down for tonight. If you see one of those showers, though, it will cool down much quicker, though. Joe?
Thanks, Aaron. A city honored for its trees is missing more than $1 million worth of them after a deadly tornado ripped them from the ground 2 months ago today. Joplin wants to keep its Tree City USA designation, but extreme temperatures and ongoing construction are postponing that process. KSPR's Emily Rittman explains some signs of life there may be misleading.
The EF5 tornado stripped countless trees of their bark, and they need this to protect them from disease. And when they're bare like this, they're very vulnerable. And even though many are starting to show what seems to be signs of life, they still need to come down.
We've got the obvious big injury right here, which is the main transport system for the tree to take up its nutrients and water. And with that kind of damage on it, it's probably going to die a very slow death.
To an untrained eye, leaves brought hope to a community piecing its puzzle back together. The greenery can be confusing.
Typically when they resprout like this, it's a stress response to damage that's already occurred to it.
Joplin Tree Board Chairman Jason Grossman says families must closely examine their trees objectively.
Obviously, we've got a lot of damage to the crown on this tree. It's probably lost a little over 50%. That's going to make it not be able to recover as quickly.
Triangles mark the trees scheduled for removal. City employees want families to know holding on to a beloved but dying tree can be dangerous.
Dead trees are always a hazard, personal property, personal injury. And again, it's just a great opportunity to get it removed now with the debris pickup going on.
Joplin Parks and Recreation Director Chris Cotton knows what it's like to lose.
When people think of parks, they associate parks with trees.
2 Joplin parks lost more than $1.2 million worth of trees. They will replant once park construction is complete.
There's no sense planting a bunch of trees when you're going to have heavy construction equipment moving over the site.
They suggest homeowners wait until their construction is complete too, and high temperatures fade.
It's going to take time. It's a great opportunity to build it back better.
Members of the tree board say it may be hard to cut your tree down, but if it looks like one of these, they say it'll just be a matter of time before it comes crashing down on its own. In Joplin, Emily Rittman, KSPR News.
The Springfield Greene County Parks Board is helping Joplin create a plan to replant the trees in their city. Once that plan is complete, they will need a large number of volunteers to help care and water the trees. If you'd like to help, you can sign up through AmeriCorps. Here's an update now to a story we first brought you last week out of Texas County. Prosecutors have charged a 17-year-old with felony animal abuse for allegedly lighting a cat on fire. Authorities say Colin Bessler and another teenager tortured and mutilated the cat June 21st. The other teenager is placed in a juvenile detention center. The cat was named Tinkerbell. She died on Monday at a Texas County animal shelter, despite the efforts of workers who were trying to nurse her back to health. Bessler and the other teenager were arrested on Tuesday. He is held on a $75,000 bond. He was arraigned Wednesday and is due back in court August 8th. Charges being filed this afternoon in Greene County against a man from Neosho. Police say he offered money for sex videos of a teenager. Police in Springfield say 36-year-old Kevin Patrick Dobbs initiated contact with a 16-year-old girl and offered money for sexually explicit photos and videos. Officers say Dobbs came to Springfield yesterday and told the girl he would meet her near Broadway and Atlantic. Police arrested him there. Greene County authorities are looking into a home invasion robbery at a house just east of Springfield. That happened around 8 o'clock last night in the 4,000 block of East Farm Road 164. That's just east of 65 in Battlefield. Police say 2 men wearing ski masks demanded money from a man and a woman in the house. The couple say both men had guns. This is a description of the suspects. Police say they're looking for 2 black men in their 20s or 30s. They're pretty tall. One is 6'4", the other about 6'1". They left the house heading east in a white extended cab Ford F-150. If you know anything about this or see the men, don't approach them yourself. Call 911, the Greene County Sheriff, or Crime Stoppers at 869-TIPS. A Harrison, Arkansas man charged with felony burglary and tampering in Taney County remains on the loose tonight. The Taney County Sheriff says Danny Wagner Jr. was discharged by a Springfield hospital, but deputies did not follow up on it and are now actively looking for him. Wagner was charged in late June after allegedly breaking into a house in Power Site. Police say the homeowner shot Wagner in the chest, leaving him in critical condition. A trail of blood and a burning body are just some of the evidence Arkansas authorities are working with in a death investigation of a woman at a post office. More on that's coming up. And later, Springfield road crews are one step closer to providing you with a new tool to get around town. We'll have those details later in the newscast. Right now, back to Aaron for a look at the forecast, which I'm guessing hasn't changed, Aaron.
Yeah, things are going to be changing a little bit, but today, for the most part, really wasn't that different from the past couple days. Still very, very hot here. The highs that we had today here in Springfield, 98 degrees, not quite 100, 99 in Kansas City, 106 in Wichita. We did have some showers or thunderstorms to cool things down. How long will this rain last? I'll let you know right after the break.
You're watching KSPR News at 6 with Joe Dawes, Lee Moody, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy, and sports with Mike Scott. KSPR, covering our community.
Well, there's not much change in the hotness, but we did see some clouds in Springfield today and some rain in the Ozarks, right?
Yeah, and that was the really nice thing. It was very, very hot again, but we had a little rain to cool things down a little bit and temporarily before things warm up again for tomorrow. Here's your current radar. We have a couple of scattered showers of thunderstorms here and there. Most areas aren't seeing any activity, but if you do get under one of these, it'll cool things down very nice. And everyone is seeing at least a little more clouds than we've had the past couple of days. We are seeing some stronger storms just over towards Warsaw, south of them, Truman Lake, not quite to Lake of the Ozarks, and then a few more just right around Avery. So some thunderstorms right there. Avery probably seeing some breezy conditions, but no rain at this hour. That could change over the next hour or two. Another thunderstorm just north of Fair Grove right there. Here in Springfield, another one over towards Stratford, and then a few more farther towards the west, starting to dissipate, and a few more south to Ozark. And if you've been outside, it's pretty breezy, and that's the way it's going to be with these storms as they develop. Now they're falling apart, and with that, they've created their wind outflows, and that's making for breezy conditions. Even if you aren't under one of those thunderstorms, it's going to be just breezy all around. But all in all, it's starting to calm down. The thunderstorms about in half an hour to an hour, then most of them will start dissipating once the sun goes down. You can see the flag. It's kind of breezy out there. That's from one of those thunderstorms that dissipated, and now we're just seen the breezy conditions. It's cool things down at the airport. 89 degrees. The dew point is now up to 60. And that gives us 50% humidity. Look at that wind south at 28 miles an hour. That's because of the thunderstorms that have fallen apart across the area. Spread of temperatures, the areas that have seen the rain has cooled down. Other places still very hot. 101 for Joplin, 93 for Monette, 90 in Branson, 93 for Harrison. So it's nice to have a little activity to cool things down. But across the area, it's still extremely hot, and that means, well, it's not a cold front moving through, which will cool things down for a couple of days. It's just a temporary cool down for a couple hours before the heat returns again for tomorrow. 103 in Wichita right now, 97 in Kansas City. A little cooler to the north. That air will try to get closer to us and give us some rain for Sunday, but for tomorrow. It'll still be very hot. Most of the moisture from the dew points all the way up to 77 for Peoria is pushed to the east and all the way to the north. So we're seeing still humid conditions, but it could be much worse if it wasn't for what the dew points that we have right now. Our heat index will be all the way up to 115 or greater. But it's not that at all. You can see the heat wave across the area starting to build across the northeastern coast and just positioning itself across most of the United States. Not much happening. Showers of thunderstorms. A couple's trying to develop right here, but really nothing too exciting. Here is the summer ridge. It's going to be building back into the area for this weekend. That means it's going to be hot again all the way into the Saturday and Sunday, when we could see maybe a couple showers and thunderstorms, particularly on Sunday. For tonight, though, 76 degrees, a few clouds, very warm, southeast winds 5 miles an hour. Again, all the showers and thunderstorms should come to an end once the sun goes down. If you don't get under one of those, you can still see some breezy conditions from the outflow winds from those thunderstorms. For tomorrow, 97 degrees, partly sunny, a few thunderstorms by afternoon, a better chance for storms Sunday and Monday, and it's still going to be extremely hot. We have the heat advisory continuing all the way till Sunday evening, and then things warm right back up once we cool down with a little bit of rain.
So not a whole lot of difference.
No, just we're talking about a couple degrees, lower 90s versus right around 100 degrees.
Anything's nice.
Exactly.
That's all right. Still to come, we'll have more details on the investigation into an Arkansas post office. First, a look at today's most viewed web stories on KSPR.com. Welcome back. A suspect is in custody in the death of a worker at a southern Arkansas post office. Police in Waldo say somebody walked into the post office this morning to find the cleaning woman missing and a trail of blood. Officers later got a call that a van was on fire nearby. They believe the suspect killed the woman, put her body in the van, and then set it on fire. They arrested the suspect in the same area as the burning van. Fire officials are still looking into what caused a massive blaze near Kansas City this afternoon. Smoke and flames started bursting from a large apartment building in Lenexa, Kansas around noon. One police officer was taken to the hospital for heat exhaustion. A resident of the complex was treated at the scene for a similar problem. The building housed more than a dozen units. If you drive in Springfield, you could soon have a new tool to help navigate around traffic jams. City officials say crews have begun testing new message boards, just like this one on West Sunshine. The signs will display traffic alerts and other helpful tools that could help you avoid congested areas. 6:21 on this Friday evening. Stay tuned. KSPR News will be right back. A big part of America's space program is history today. It was the last landing of the 30-year shuttle program yesterday. Atlantis arriving back on Earth, mission complete. And KSPR Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy was there as part of the NASA tweet-up.
It was all eyes on the Kennedy Space Center this morning as Space Shuttle Atlantis touched down for the very last time here. But it wasn't just all the regular media that you see here behind me covering this event. There was a group of very lucky individuals. They call themselves the Tweetia. They got to cover this historic event.
My alarm clock was set for 2:30 this morning.
Meet Jonathan Yarmus, or should I say @JYarmus on Twitter.
There are only a few things that would get me to wake up at 2:30 in the morning. NASA tweet up for STS-135 landing is one of those.
A program that selected 50 lucky tweeters from around the country to come to the Kennedy Space Center for the final shuttle landing. But what is driving NASA to even get involved with social networking?
NASA cannot advertise as a government agency, and yet we have a mandate in the 1958 Act that established NASA that we share as widely as possible what the agency is doing.
So they turned to Twitter and started the NASA Tweet Up program and invited the general public to come on site and tweet all about NASA. Today, Jonathan was there for every great moment.
One of the seminal moments clearly was when you heard that double sonic boom. It's like, wow, this is that moment, and it's real emotional, having a son who's wanted to be an astronaut.
The NASA Tweet Up participants are awesome because they are the most enthusiastic group of people I get to work with.
Enthusiastic may be an understatement. For this past shuttle launch, 5,500 people signed up to be a NASA tweeter.
You say something's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This was the last one. This was the last opportunity, and it's a memorable kind of thing.
Obviously a huge success for NASA, the Tweet Up program. We got to be a part of it, and we're very excited to be here for the historic landing of the last space shuttle ever. Tweeters won't be talking about the space shuttle anymore, but everybody looking forward to what NASA may have up their sleeve next. In sunny Florida, Kevin Leidy, KSPR News.
Yesterday's landing was a bittersweet homecoming for Space Shuttle employees. Today, 4,000 of them got pink slips. Private companies are getting ready to take over the job of sending spacecraft back into orbit and back to the Earth. Up next, we're going to recap our top story tonight, that major breakthrough in a case of a missing Willard couple. That's coming up next on KSPR News at 6. Here's a recap today. A big announcement from the Greene County Sheriff. Jim Arnott says preliminary autopsy results indicate remains found in Taney County are those of Russell and Rebecca Porter, who went missing more than 3 months ago. KSPR's Joanna Small will have more on what's made this investigation so difficult tonight at 10. In the meantime, more heat coming our way.
Yeah, things are actually cooling down because of a couple of thunderstorms, but also if you're close to one of those storms, it's going to be very breezy as it starts falling apart. All the activity should be done within an hour or so. Heat advisory for Saturday, Sunday, maybe some rain Sunday and Monday.
It's going to be a warm weekend. That's KSPR News for 6 for this Friday evening. We'll have more news tonight at 10. For news anytime, check out KSPR.com.